Hello everyone, I am Professor Nayan Asne, Department of Information Technology, Parvatibai Ganbamose College of Engineering, Vagoli. In the last session, we have seen about the software myths. So there are three types of myths, that is the management level, customer level and practitioner level, as we have communicated previously in the last session. In this session, we are starting with the process models, or we can say generic process frameworks. So software process is the collection of generic activities, and there are 5 generic process activities. So first is the communication, second is planning, third is modeling, fourth is construction and fifth is deployment. So we'll see one by one all these activities. Any framework or any process model contains these 5 activities. So we'll start with the communication. So the software development start with the communication between the customers and developers. The customer must state all the requirements at the initial stage of the software development. The second is planning. So the planning includes the estimation, that is the cost estimation of the project, and the scheduling. Scheduling can be of timeline, your timeline chunks, and your resource scheduling, your project plans, and tracking. So all these things, that is the estimation, scheduling, planning, and tracking, is done in the planning phase. The third is the modeling, which includes the requirement analysis and the project designing with the help of algorithms and the flow charts. If you go with this time, we have different DFDs, that is from DFD level 0 to DFD level 5. Then we have UML, that is Unified Modeling Languages, for modeling the software architecture. Then we have a class diagrams and the system architecture. So the next is the construction. In the construction includes the coding and testing steps. In coding, the detailed design which I have done in the modeling stage is implemented using the proper programming language. And in testing, whatever the code we have generated in coding phase is tested by errors or by flow of the coding. How the flow of the coding is, or what bugs or the errors the project have. This all has been testing in the testing phase. There are different types of testing also. We can say the white box. Generally, the first stage includes the black box, that is what is income and what is outcome. So in the testing phase, we do all this type of basic testing. So like if you take the example of C programming language, just pressing the F7 key, we can check step-by-step execution of the program, or we can check whether the program is giving expected output or not. And then the fifth phase is deployment. So it includes the software delivery, support, and the feedback. Whatever software is developed using the process model is given to the customer. The support and the maintenance is done by the software developers, and the feedback is asked from the customer. Now if we say the delivery of, if you take the example of your fridge, washing machine, they have a user manual that contains how to use the product, what actually the product contains, what are the part of that products. So this all is given in the deployment phase to the customer. That is your software delivery, your support, your maintenance. If something goes wrong, you have to go and finalize and then repair the things that comes under the support and maintenance. And in feedback, you have to take the customer feedback for your improvement, your product improvement. So these are the process activity, generic process activities. Now we will actually move forward with factor for choosing the software process models. So the factors which affects to choose the software process model, the first one is the customer involvement. How much customer is involved in the software development phase. Then your stable requirement, if the requirement are stable or they are jumping. Then the team size, what actually the team size is needed for developing a particular product. Then the developer experience, means how much experience the developer has to develop the software product. Then familiarity with the technology, which technology the software development is using, means the team is using, and if the developers are familiar with the technology or not, then the developers are familiar with the domain or not that software development is going through. Then the scenario of the impact of incorrect analysis and anticipated changes in the technology. Whatever the technology changes, does the software product will move with the technology or not. So these factors affect for choosing the software process model. Now, if you go with the generic process model, we have different types of generic process model. The first one is the prescriptive model. In prescriptive model, we have first the waterfall model, second incremental model, third evolutionary model, and fourth specialized process model. So we'll see one by one. Waterfall model is individual model. It doesn't contain any sub-models. The incremental model, we have incremental model itself first, and second the RAD model. The evolutionary model, firstly will have the prototyping model, second the spiral model, third the concurrent model, and the fourth one is specialized process model, which again have the sub model. First is the component based model, second is the formal method model, and third is the aspect oriented model. We will see all this model one by one. So let's go with the first, that is the waterfall model. So the waterfall model is also called as the linear sequential model or the classic life cycle model. It begins at the stage of system level and goes through the analysis, design, coding, testing and maintenance phase. So you can see the diagram of waterfall model. That comes first the requirement from the customer, then design and model, means make the architecture with good programming languages, whatever the resources we are having, and the tools. Then comes the development phase consists of the coding. Then after the development you have to test the particular things that have been developed in the development phase using the proper programming language. Then deploy the software product, and then after deployment you have to maintain, support and take the feedback from the customers. Actually you can go with this stage also, or simply we have, if you go with the generic process activities, that is the communication, planning, modeling, construction and deployment. In communication phase in waterfall model, the project initiation, requirement gathering is done. Then the planning phase, the estimation, scheduling and tracking of the product software project is done. Then third, in modeling phase, the analysis and designing is done using the different unified modeling languages, then flowcharts, then algorithms. Then if you go with the construction, in construction for this particular model, coding and testing is done in construction phase, and last in the deployment, delivery, feedback and support is given. So you can go with this flow also, or you can go with the generic process activities flow also. Again I will repeat, don't confuse between the generic process activities and the umbrella activities. Umbrella activities are addition to generic process activities for going the project flow with the software process development. So the generic process activities are communication, planning, modeling, construction, deployment, and the umbrella activities are software project tracking and control, risk management, software quality assurance, formal technical reviews, measurement, software configuration management, reusability management, work product and preparation, and documentation needs. So these umbrella activities are addition to the generic process activities to make your software product process. So we'll see what are the advantage and disadvantage of this waterfall model. The advantage of waterfall model is this model is so simple to use and also well understandable by the normal people. So it has the sequential approach for the software development, so it is widely used. The third one is it is easy to maintain as the requirements are stated or understood at the beginning stage by the developers. The disadvantage of waterfall model is the problem remains uncovered until the testing phase, means there is no way to intermediate test the code as it goes one by one. Then second is the one stage development depend on the another stage to complete. It is called as the state blocking. So after completing one stage, it moves to the second stage. So the second stage remain waiting until the first is finishing. So this is called as a state blocking. The third is, according to this model, the customer should state all the requirement at the initial phase only. So it is difficult for the customers to state all the requirement at the initial stage. So if the intermediate requirement is there by the customer, so this model will not be modified. So these are difficult for the customer to state all the requirement at the initial stage. And fourth one, it is useful It is useful for small project only. If you consider the bigger project which are having the different version, so this model cannot be used for the bigger project. So the small project, we have the minimum requirements, we can use the waterfall model in such a situation only. So this is about the waterfall model. So in the next session we'll proceed with the incremental model. Again, it will have the incremental model itself, and the second is the RAD model. But before proceeding to that, we'll again flashback what we have seen in this session. So first we have seen the generic process activities, which are 5: communication, planning, modeling, construction, deployment. Then we have seen what are the factors for choosing the software process model, that is customer involvement, your stable requirements, team size, developer experience, familiarity with the technology, familiarity with your domain, then severity of impact of incorrect analysis, if your analysis goes wrong, then, and the last one is anticipated changes in the technology. So if the technology changes, then. So these are the factors for choosing the proper software process model for your software development. Then we have seen the generic process models. That first one is the prescriptive. In that, the first one is the waterfall, then incremental, evolutionary, and specialized process model. We have seen the waterfall model, which is the sequential approach and also called as a linear sequential model. We have seen the advantage and disadvantage of the waterfall model. So in the next session, we'll proceed with incremental model. Hope you understand this session. If you have any doubts or queries, please you can mention in the comment section or in a Zoom session. Thank you.